Dark Raider stuff. I know some of you guys have been looking for Tarkov. We had an interview today with Nikita. Pestily did a really good job at it, and I want to give you the bullet point rundown of this. It was kind of a long interview. There was a ton of information in there, and I know not all of you want to listen to it, so we're just going to blow through the top points, the important stuff. We'll roll some B-roll in the background to keep you guys updated on what Nikita said and what was talked about. Though I do recommend go listening to the podcast, especially like the last half of it. There's a lot of, I don't want to say non-informational, like not news stuff in there, but Nikita expanded and talked a lot about the emotions, the feelings, everything they're getting ready for 1.0 and what the game and specifically the community means to them as devs and how excited they are for this and how much they actually love the community and everything that's afforded them. So for sure, Pestily doesn't have a video up yet, but once it is, I'm sure you're going to see it. If you're watching Tarkov stuff, you're going to see Pestily's video. It'll pop up. Go give that a listen. Just throw it on while you're working out or, cooking dinner or doing something. Or I listen to a lot of stuff while I'm in the shower, weirdly enough. Great time to listen to podcasts, at least for me. So go give that a listen to. One asterisk to all of this. If you hear me say probably, when I'm referring to items in here, what that basically means is Nikita wasn't 100% on his answer, and I'm reverting to historically what we've seen. Doesn't happen a lot, but there's a few places. So if you hear me say probably, that's what I mean. And Nikita was kind of wishy-washy on the answer, or he didn't want to answer, and we'll revert back to
We're
what
just
they've
gonna
done in the
watch this
past
while we
if there is historical
do my
footage.
task
So
stuff.
let's not waste any more
Chat.
time and get right into this. Okay,
Before
so
we load
first up,
into a
there's going to be a
game.
Tarkov TV special. It's going to be on the 15th. Nikita made it sound like while the servers are down, but it's probably going to start while the servers are down, but I bet it runs past through the launch. They've done this in the past a couple of times with Tarkov TVs on big events. It doesn't just end when the servers go live. It goes through the launch of the game and they keep going. So expect a really big Tarkov TV during the launch. We'll probably be live. Depends on when it starts. We'll be live on stream, kind of restreaming it, talking about it with chat like that. So don't hesitate to come check it out. We'll be on YouTube and Twitch both. There is no corporate event planned or anything like that. Nothing big for them other than the Tarkov TV because they are going to be at war fixing stuff and dealing with the servers. Typical wipe day, except probably a lot bigger now because it's 1.0 going on. Now, going on to the next part, they talked about the existing quests and if there was any change or anything to them. Nikita said they're pretty much all the same. They did balance a bunch of them, but as far as how they work, they didn't change them, but they did add a bunch of storyline tasks. Not really big news, but just want to make sure everybody understands what he said. Got into prestige stuff, all the prestiges and rewards. All of that's going to stay through 1.0. Nothing's resetting. Some people kind of got that idea. I don't know where that was never said. Some people asked for it, but that's not happening. Everything stays through the 1.0 wipe. And just so we're clear, yes, this jumps around a lot because Pestily was really reading kind of a list of questions. So the theme is kind of jumps around, which is fine. But just so you know, I'm just doing it in order that it was in the podcast. Next up is, about the softcore and hardcore changes. What of those are going to be 1.0? Now, Nikita said it's going to be somewhere between. And I don't even venture a guess at what that means because theoretically that could just mean normal Tarkov, everything we had. But near as I can tell from the kind of the back and forth conversation is that they're going to take what we had on Tarkov before the hardcore wipe, just regular Tarkov. They're going to implement some stuff from hardcore. Some of those things we know is probably the secure container restrictions on meds and ammo. They've hinted that that's going to stay. And things like putting a serve kit in your special slot, that's going to stay. But as far as the softcore changes, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe some of the inertia stuff, who knows? But they're going to take stuff from both softcore and hardcore wipe and apply it at 1.0. So it's going to be kind of a surprise. Questions about Steam pricing. And again, the Steam pricing is going to be the exact same there as it is on BSG store. They're the same. He said there's some things they had to do because they can't have weird pricing on Steam or something. I don't know if that means they can't have like, $35.72 or something. They got to be, somewhere normal pricing that you see. I'm guessing that's all he said about it. But there is going to be a pre-sales thing that starts on the 13th, which is tomorrow as I'm recording this. It might be the same day. So there's going to be a pre-sales leading up to 1.0 with the game being cheaper. So I know there's some people that want to buy Tarkov on Steam so they can link their account. This is going to be the sale for you to do that. I don't know if it's going to be cheaper than some that are Christmas sales and stuff, but the way that works for those that aren't sure if you bought your Tarkov account 3 years ago or 2 years ago or whatever, or even today, and you didn't buy it on Steam, you can link your Steam profile, but only through buying another account. But you don't have to buy like another Unheard. If you have, for example, if you have an Unheard account already and you've been playing on it and you have 1,000 hours, if you buy a standard account on Steam and then you link those two profiles, the Unheard account will override the standard account on Steam and everything will be linked. Now, I'm not suggesting anybody does that. In fact, you shouldn't do that. There's no reason to spend $40 or whatever it's going to be for a standard account on Steam to link it to Steam, unless it's your money, it's your disposable income, and Steam might be that important to you. And if that's okay, do it. I'm not going to be critical of you doing it, but it's not something you have to do. The game is still going to run through the launcher. It's going to run how it always did. And that's how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to go buy an account on Steam. Just don't care. Okay, so next question. Pre-download before the servers go live probably isn't going to be possible. Nikita said no, but then he started typing and he asked around. So there is a small chance that maybe they turn the download on before the servers are live and then just don't turn the servers on. I think that's capable because we've kind of mistakes. I think we've seen that in the past where
honestly, to go to the last point, I wouldn't waste your money either. Just personally. That sounds like a waste of money. Just use it on the launcher like you always do and keep things standard.
You've been able to download, but then the servers blow up and everybody's still downloading and updating the game, but they can't. So maybe they turn the download on earlier and you just can't get on the servers. There's a small chance of that, but I wouldn't plan on it. So plan on the usual flood to get in at the start when the servers go live. Okay, so time zone change, this stuff kind of screws it up, but usually within an hour or two, the servers go down the night before the patch, the morning of the patch, if you will, about 3 a.m. Eastern, which is obviously midnight Pacific, 8 a.m. GMT or UTC, basically London time, and then 7 p.m. in Sydney for our time traveling friends down under. That's the normal time. Nikita said they're going to need a much to make sure everything goes well. So I would expect the servers to go down significantly.
That's what I'm trying to do.
They're going to tell us at some point. We just don't know now. So figure, we see a 6 to 8 hour window on updates. I'm thinking maybe a 12 or 14 hour window. So, if they do a 12-hour window, figure, take 6 hours off of that time, because they usually do about a 6-hour window, not an 8. So take about 6 hours off of what I just gave you. So that's going to be 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. In London, and 1 p.m. in Sydney. The day before, well, not the day before for Sydney, but for, I guess, London, but day before the 14th for people in the United States. I'm making an emphasis on this because I know a lot of you are sitting on your prestiges or some other stuff. Make sure you prestige. I've already done it. I did it already. I got it out of the way. I don't plan on playing Tarkov between now and the 15th, or at least in a meaningful way. I'm already prestiged. I'm already reset. I'm ready to go for wipe. So don't wait till the last minute. It would suck to be ready for prestige and then miss it because they turn the servers off a couple hours early than you were expecting. So just get it done and get out of the way now. Now, as far as
seriously, if you're holding on a prestige, do it now.
We'll get to that in a sec.
You don't know when they're going to turn servers off.
There are not going to be any patch notes at release, but more of like highlights. He said there's nearly 5,000 lines of changes for 1.0, and they may release those later. But you can imagine what that's going to look like. So that's why they're not doing patch notes, because there's just so many. We're going to get some highlights, which isn't really all that different from what we've seen in the past. So and those are going to drop usually they go when the servers go down. It might be a little bit later, but don't expect to see those sooner. I wouldn't plan to see those until the night of the patch. He said no major overhauls for visuals at 1.0. They wanted to do it, they just couldn't get it done. Future updates will have those, though. They are looking for that in 2026 to do a graphical visual overhaul. He did clarify some stuff, and this has been asked a lot, but it is the case. As far as some of the rewards and the pre-order stuff, that they're hey, here's pre-order stuff for everybody who bought EOD already. This isn't okay. Let me clarify this. There was a post that came out showing pre-order stuff. Right now, BSG showed all this list of things for pre-order, and people were under the impression that people are only getting it if they pre-ordering now. This applies to everybody who's bought the game before release. Even if you bought the game 4 years ago, you're getting these pre-order things. There's stuff The next question is if you had EOD and you upgraded Unheard, are you still getting the EOD stuff? And the answer is yes. You're getting all of that. So don't worry about it. All that stuff's showing up. Further down, Prestige is only after 1.0. Prestige is only going to be available after you complete the storyline mode. So you're not going to be able to Prestige unless you finish the storyline mode. Now, there's a lot of questions here with how the multiple profiles are going to work. I'm not sure. I don't even dare guess, so I won't. The next DLC is going to be Scav Life. We pretty much already know that, but you might not have. And they're planning one major DLC.
This one's going to be cool, Scav Life.
There are going to be big events that are not DLCs, but still multiple things a year. So think things like the Labyrinth or Halloween or Christmas events, stuff like that, scattered throughout the year on top of the yearly DLC. They are going to do 2 wipes per year on the seasonal characters. So we are going to have separate profiles. You'll have a playthrough to go through the storyline and escape Tarkov and all that stuff. And that is your permanent profile. That will never wipe. So think kind of like PvE, but in the PvP never wiping profile now. But there's going to be a second profile that's seasonal.
This is what's interesting to me.
And again,
I'm excited for this.
I'm not sure how it works yet, beyond what I've told you. So
I'm gonna play a lot of the seasonal wipe.
Last 1.0
or non-seasonal, I mean.
Play a seasonal character. It's real kind of a huge, time for Tarkov. Change of the guard, if you will. Now, he did expand and say there's going to be a roadmap released after 1.0.
This is going to be crazy. I'm excited for this wipe, you guys.
I wouldn't expect anything.
Getting used to the PvP, warming up on Arena.
I love the guys at BSG. They work their ass off.
I'm gonna let Airwing Marine do what he does.
They rarely make their deadlines. They have sometimes, but we see so much stuff push and get delayed. The most recent one, for example, would be the Battle Pass for Arena. It was only supposed to be 2 months, and I believe it ended up being 5 or 6 months long. I don't remember exactly, but it was a lot longer than it was supposed to be. So just keep that in mind with the roadmap. We're going to get it, but it's going to be simplified. And like me, I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock into the dates or anything applied there. Now for PvE, I know there's a lot of you guys that are worried about this. And if you're a PvE player, you need to listen to this podcast. Nikita explained so much in here that there's a lot of people that play PvE that like hate Nikita or whatever, or have ill feelings towards him. You really need to listen to his explanation on this. I can't do it. Go listen to his words and his emotions about all of it. But for PvE, you are going to need to wipe your account to get the 1.0 content. Now, to do this, for it to properly happen, you need to do it during the update. So once they take the servers down, go get on the website and wipe your PvE account, or do it after the update. Either way, it just has to happen after they take the servers down. I'm guessing if you do it before, it doesn't register it and it doesn't know. Now, if you don't wipe, you're going to get an in-game message for PvE players telling you that you need to wipe if you want the content. But you do have to still do it on the website. In fact, let me go through that process with you guys, just to show you so everybody's clear. Okay, so you're going to go to escapefromtarkov.com and click on this thing.
What the fuck?
Okay, that's going to bring you to your account.
Shit just disappeared out of my fucking...
settings.
What the fuck?
Okay, once you click settings, you're going to click on that. It says reset the game profile for PvP. Now in here, you have to check one of these boxes.
What the
PvE.
fuck?
This is where you got to wipe your PvE account. So you click that, you click submit, and you're good to go. And that's all there is to it, to resetting your...
Yo, what a lie. Did that fucking runner really just eat a heady?
Okay, so the next thing up about PvE is it's going to have the same content as PvP, though they are going to change some of the achievements. That like PvE doesn't have some of the PvP achievements, so I don't know if that means they're going to add them back in and just kind of change them, or if they're going to tweak all of them. Either way, keep an eye out for that. If you're on PvE, you're going to have different achievements than PvP. Now, they are, again, this is very wishy-washy. It could be anywhere from they're halfway done developing it and working on it to it was an idea drawn on a napkin at the bar and they all liked it and they want to do it. That's anything that Nikita says is planned kind of falls into that category. So this is one of those things. This could be something that's partially implemented, or it could have been something written on a napkin at a bar. They are going to implement something for
It disappears. I don't understand that, dude. Holy.
They want to have something like that. You won't get prestige in PvE like we have in PvP, but they want to add something. Pestily poked him about mod support. I know this is a huge thing for a lot of people. It's planned, but basically, just with everything that's going on getting ready for launch, they just have so much other stuff.
Shut up.
And the release DLCs, they do want to add mod support. So, and if the way he says it, I would be surprised if we see it in 2026. That being said, I never expected to see PvE or snow before 1.2. So the fact that we got that earlier, my judgment's not always now. Definitely asked about wiping, the flea market or whatever, because if somebody doesn't wipe, they can still sell on the flea market. Somebody who can on PvE. And Nikita said they might think about wiping the flea market at 1.0 to make sure people can't just sell stuff to one another. And snowball, somebody who didn't wipe can't sell their stuff to somebody who did, and then snowball. But this won't fix the problem. Everybody's stashes in PvE are essentially Scrooge McDuck vaults right now. Still do the grim overflowing, swimming in loopy money.
We ain't going that way. Fuck that.
I know it's not everyone, but there are tons of people like that. And if those people don't wipe, there's nothing to keep them from selling gear or having access to certain stuff and selling that to people who did wipe and blowing through the 1.0 content and not experiencing the problem. So they're going to have to do something more than that. I don't know what it's going to be. They have to make separate flea markets for those people. Happening on such short notice, unless this is something that was already considered and Nikita just wasn't aware of it, which is a possibility. But they either have to have separate flea markets for people who like it, or they have to completely lock one party the other out of the flea.
Damn, my boy took all the kills.
At least Pestily, or whoever had Pestily ask the question, got them thinking about that here a couple of days before wipe. We'll see what happens. Next big one, and it's been a controversial one. I think overblown controversial.
Oh yeah, this is a good one in my opinion. They need to.
This, but the IEMs.
Yeah, I'm glad they're doing this.
Only available through the battle pass. Will be available in normal game. They're going to be an analog version or a similar version available from traders. They are also going to balance them more so that they work with helmets in a proper way. And what I think he means is sure, you're going to have headsets. They're going to help a little bit, but they're going to muffle them down because they're wearing a helmet over the top of them, which is how it should work. So, yes, you can hear a little bit better than you can without them, but they're not going to work as well as, somebody who's got a headset on and a helmet that doesn't cover everything, right? We'll just have to wait and see. They are aware of it. They're working on it. That's how it's going to be for 1.0. Nikita joked around and said they're putting together mobile tactical groups around the world to hunt down cheaters, which he obviously said he was joking, though I know a lot of us would like that. This is the problem about cheater stuff. You can't really tip your hand as a developer what you're doing to fight cheaters, because then that helps them get around what you're doing to fight them.
Prone under tower. He's like just to the right of that box, G.
Fans and players of the games to understand what's going on. He said there's lots of stuff being implemented for 1.0 to fight cheaters. Additional detection management, stuff like that, but he couldn't say that. I know that's not going to make a lot of you happy.
I'm ass.
It's an unwinnable discussion to have. But
what are you doing, Gabby?
He just said they have been testing a lot of things lately, and it resulted in false bans.
Nice. Climbed up in the box, on your left.
A small group of people, and they're trying to unban them, and Nikita apologizes for it. And that's his statement. Now, for me, unfortunately, that's part of the process. Anti-cheat, that's kind of how it works. The tighter you turn the dials, the more likely it is your people are going to catch false bans.
Nice.
The more it is for people to actually can cheat and get away with it. There's that boundary area in between there. So we'll just have to see how it pans out. Fingers crossed, hopefully optimistic, but just expecting the typical Tarkov experience at 1.0. Now, on the streets, we had some discussion previously about Nikita was saying they were trying to figure out how to make streets run better. They had ideas like fixing the day-night cycle like Factory, or cutting it in half and having a separate map. They are not doing that. They are not going to cut the map in half. At least that's what he said. I don't know about some of the other stuff. He said he's cautiously optimistic because they did do a lot of work on optimizations, but it's never 100%. So, man, I wish I could give you guys better hope for this, but it sounds like, hey, they optimized it. Maybe it's going to run a little bit better. unless you have probably still gonna and I wish I could give you better news than that. And maybe I'm wrong. Asked about Burnt Peanut getting a streamer item. That's a super popular topic right now because Burnt Peanut's he's taken off. He's a global phenomenon now. And Nikita said, surprisingly, that there's lots of new streamer items. They're pretty much ready, but they might not make it in with 1.0 because they're not a priority in consideration with everything else that they're doing. But they're almost there, which took me by surprise after the kind of the shit show of the streamer competition to get streamer items and how that blew up. And there was a lot of fucking drama and just really dumb shit over it. I figured they were done with streamer items, but I didn't even blame them because it puts them into an awkward position. You know, why did this streamer get it and this one didn't? Or, you know, why does this streamer doesn't even play Tarkov anymore? Why does he have an item? Or this streamer only shit talks Tarkov. Why does he have an item? Yeah, there's just so much drama, stupid drama around it. I was surprised to hear them diving back into it. Don't expect it at 1.0, I guess. Nikita just he bounced around on this. It was really hard to gather what he was trying to say. Honestly, it sounded like that there's a chance that we're going to get him at 1.0, but he didn't want to admit that. He wanted to make it sound like maybe it's far off. But that could be legit what he was just saying, is that, hey, somebody's working on him. It's close, but it wasn't ready for 1.0. So maybe see him a month later or something like that. That's where we're at. New trailer with new tracks by Nikita. Probably going to be on the day of release. So figure maybe the 14th or 15th. I was kind of hoping we were going to get it today or tomorrow, but that looks like it's going to be on with release. So that'll be interesting. And for those that know, yes, Nikita makes I think all of it. At least most of it. I don't know if it's all of it, but I think it's all of it, but at least most of it. It's all done by him. This is kind of his passion project on the side. So he has some new tracks, some new stuff that's going to be with him. Hideout Cat. Yes, still planned. That's all we got. He says maybe, man, challenges with adding Linux, with anti-cheat. It's not just Linux itself, like there's anti-cheat, a lot of other things that are involved with it. He said maybe in the future, and that's one of those things I wouldn't hold my breath for, because he also tied it as well as a console version. He kind of put those together. And I mean, Pestily pushed him on it and was like, how the hell are you gonna do this in a console version? And I'm with Pest on this. I don't know how you put Tarkov on console, but he says he's got some ideas and he wants to do it. So who knows, maybe a year or two down the road, we see Tarkov on console, which aside from inventory management and just the general gameplay, I don't know how you get Tarkov to run on a console, but it's for them to figure out, not me to worry about. The one here was kind of disappointing to me because we actually talked to Nikita in person about this one, and the way he talked to us made it sound like it was something that was very close, or at least that's how I perceived it. And that was a kill cam, but really an after raid review system. And near as I can tell is maybe they had one that was close, and then the final product, they just didn't like it, so they canned it. Because Nikita, he says if they were ever going to add this, they want it to be realistic. You know, it's not going to be a kill cam like Call of Duty or anything like that, or Battlefield, whatever. It's going to be some kind of review system from like a drone that really limits how much information you get or how you perceive it, still gives it to you, but in a realistic way. So again, I don't know. They want to add it, but this is in one of those things that's down the road. Don't expect it. Now, Inertia. Inertia from Arena may come to EFT, and that one, I did not expect that one. He says basically it's going to come in some form, but they need to refine it more. They want to do it. Boy, that's a can of worms. We'll leave that for another video maybe, but that's that's what he said. I don't know anything like that. In-raid traders. Now the next one's a huge question that we've all had for a very long time that we just didn't have a good answer on. It sounds like we've got it now. The in-raid traders are not going to be there to require you to trade with them. That's out. There will be traders in raid of sorts, but it's mostly just for the storyline and the cutscenes and stuff like that. Trading is still going to happen like we've always done it at the trader screen. Maybe you have to unlock them or something. You don't have them all right away. I don't know. That's part of the storyline stuff. But don't expect to have to go to the traders like you do Lightkeeper or the BTR to get stuff or deal with them. That's not how it's going to work. Maybe some of the quest stuff, I don't know. But the actual trade profile, the trading and stuff is still going to work in your stash with them and things like that. They do have future plans to add them to the maps, but that's down the road, which means all of the mechanics and stuff with that as well. Now, Pestily asked specifically about the interchange expansion or expansions to maps with 1.0. Nikita said he didn't know anything about the interchange map, but we've had that confirmed by multiple people over the last 2 months that and it was on the roadmap at one point, that there is some kind of update / expansion coming to Interchange, and that it was going to come with 1.0. So Nikita just wasn't plugged into that. I wouldn't hold that against him or think that means it's not happening. He just wasn't into that specific information. He said that lots of expansions on various maps because of the storyline. And he said there's a huge expansion for Woods, which I don't know how you do a huge expansion for Woods. That would, I mean, oh my God, that makes my brain hurt, because I'm trying to think of where you would expand besides off into one of the sniper zones, or, you know, by checkpoint, or on the north side of the map, or maybe over by the train depot or something.
No,
Maybe
Woods
the
is
train
big
depot gets
enough.
opened up in a different way. I don't know. Point being is, he said there's a huge expansion to Woods. Okay, that's going to be interesting, because Woods is already a massive map. Some people would argue too big. But anyway, he also touched on the icebreaker, which is going to be a new map, which is the ship. Really interesting. That's going to be a whole new map added that we weren't expecting. I suspect it's going to be part of the storyline. We kind of already know that, or suspect it, I guess. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. So there is that. And so kind of the rest of it, there's one other point here, but long story short, Nikita spent a big portion of the rest of the podcast talking about Tarkov and 1.0 and what it means for them. One of the things he did mention is that BSG, when it first started, was 5 or 6 people, half a dozen people, and now they are over 400 people. That is crazy when you think about that. As a business owner, and from my perspective of somebody who's worked in business and as a business owner myself, that's crazy. That is a hell of a goal, to bring a company from half a dozen people to 400 people in the course of basically a decade. That's insane success right there, because I think that's just awesome. I'm happy for him. That is such a cool thing to be able to say you've done as a business owner. So that's kind of cool, and it just shows you how big BSG is now. Now, again, like I said, Nikita pontificated a lot about the end of Tarkov, the end of the beta, and getting into 1.0, what it means for the people in the team. But it's worth giving it a listen to, because Nikita gets into the heart and soul of his experiences and his feelings about this. And I think it's really important, because a lot of people have Nikita painted as a boogeyman, and it is what it is. How he engages on social media and stuff being what it is, and people taking stuff too seriously, or people just suck sometimes in general. But it was super cool to listen to him explain it all and express his gratitude for the player base and the process and helping them get to where they are. That's what it is for them. So make sure you go check out the stream, or I'm sure you'll eventually do a YouTube video and watch that part of it. I mean, listen to the whole thing, but that last bit where Nikita really starts talking a lot, I think it's about the last third or last half is where it's at. But that's it, guys. That's the whole thing. I tried to make it as quick as I can. I know I rambled a bit. Man, I rambled a lot. I didn't realize it was going to be that long. I thought it was going to be shorter, but it is what it is. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope this is helpful. Watching this actually got me a lot more stoked for 1.0 than I have been. I've been distracted by Battlefield and Arc Raiders, so I'm super stoked. It sucks because there's some good content coming out for Arc, but I'm not going to miss the launch of 1.0 Tarkov. I'm just not going to. Loving the content I make, being so passionate about it that it drove me to be a content creator. So this is kind of a big step for me as well. So I'm excited. And for all of you guys that have been around for years, I know it is for you too. You guys have been really looking forward to this 1.0 moment, even if it's just to tie a bow off on the game and know what it's going to be, whether you like it or love it or hate it. It's going to be important for Tarkov lovers and haters alike. So appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Let YouTube know that you want to see Tarkov content, because with us doing multiple games now, it's kind of getting confused. But with that, I'll say I wish you guys the best of luck in your Tarkov 1.0 experience, and we'll see you in Tarkov.
Chat, what do you think?